All right. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I'm not sure when you are going to have space in your day to watch this, but I just want to thank you initially for taking the time to do so. Hopefully I explained a little bit in my email, but I just wanted to let you guys know if you're receiving this email, then I am counting you as an integral piece as a stakeholder to part of our school counseling program. Part of best practice that I'm going to get into with our national model is having an advisory council for our counseling department. I know that sounds kind of strange, and there's so many committees, so many councils, and so I thought I would try this differently. I thought I would try to bring you as stakeholders and important people that we really appreciate and value your feedback, that we would come together almost in a digital way where you could watch this from the comfort of your own office or home, but so that you are aware of what is going on within the school counseling program at Peet Junior High, but also feel like you have a space to use your voice and give us feedback to just continue to make this program better. So you guys are a part of my fall. This is our fall meeting. I just wanted to respect your time. I know that people have families and they are stretched so thin. And so I thought instead of pulling people together, hoping to get enough people to come to a meeting, that I would bring this meeting to you in a video form. And so we are going to get started. I am going to be pulling up our, let me see here. Here we go. The presentation today that I am going to be sharing with you. Let me pull this up. Okay. So like I said, I really appreciate you serving as part of our advisory council and the fact that you guys each have a different perspective of how we have worked with you, collaborated with you, or that you just have a really unique glimpse into our school counseling program. And so that's why we value your different perspectives and feedback and want you to be a part of this team with us. Introduction, my name is Becky Lins. Hopefully you all know who I am, one of the school counselors here at Peet Junior High. The purpose for you all as stakeholders, like I mentioned in our introduction, you guys are an integral piece of our school system, but also a very valued piece of our school counseling department. It definitely takes a village to raise our young people as well, and it is definitely taking a village to make our program the best it can be and continually growing, learning, and serving. And so we would love your effort and help with that. Again, we value your feedback and the perspective you have in working with students and your educational background or different experiences, and that's what brings so many unique perspectives to the table. The objectives for this presentation today, I'm going to be covering our vision, mission, and belief statements. If you see the graphic here in this presentation, this is the graphic of our national model. So as you can see, the framework around it, the themes of advocacy, leadership, collaboration, and systemic change are essential, kind of like what I consider a school counselor's essential skills. Then you see the 4 pieces of foundation, delivery, accountability, and management. I'm going to be going through some of these today, but especially that foundation piece of our beliefs, why we do what we do, our mission, some of the competencies and the domains that we work from. As you can see, an advisory council is part of that management system. So overall, this is us following our national model, which is ASCA, American School Counselor Association, but it's also connected with our Iowa framework and what we see as essential for school counseling programs to be comprehensive, sequential, data-driven. This is just the right work to do. And so we are just continually making strides with that. Besides covering some of that foundation, I'm also going to be talking to you about program goals, our junior high curriculum here in the district, kind of a big picture view of the calendar this year, and then getting more in depth with our national model and our RAMP components. And I'm going to explain a little bit later what that is. But then also we just want to get your feedback at the end as well. So we will continue to move forward. Our vision statement. So this is something that was kind of exciting to write. The direction with creating a vision for our department. Districts have visions, school buildings have visions, but it's even essential for school counseling programs to have vision. And part of the framework to create this is envisioning our students 5, 10, 15 years down the road. What would we want to see in them? What character traits would we want to see? If we ran into them somewhere, what would we want to see them doing and thriving? And so, as you can see, our Peet Junior High School Counseling Program, our vision is for every student to graduate with college and career awareness and readiness. Our students will possess and be equipped with 21st century skills, strong in the ability to create, innovate, problem solve, and steadfast in their empathy and healthy coping strategies. Our students will become resilient, navigating post-secondary and beyond with a grit and growth mindset and sound education decision-making. They embrace and thrive in their roles as positive, inclusive change agents as they demonstrate leadership in their community and the world around them. They will persevere in the face of challenge and setbacks, their rich experience in social emotional learning. Peet Junior High students will emerge into adulthood with productive and engaging partnerships, cultural acceptance, global awareness, and confidence in being the best versions of themselves. This is an exciting statement because it's, we can dream big. This is something I would want for my own children, but this is what we want for our kids, right? We want them to thrive, and we want them strong in those coping and life skills that it takes just to navigate past their secondary education. Our mission statement, this was created back in the spring of 2012. We wrote it as a K-12 counseling department, and basically that our mission is that we work in collaboration with staff, parents, and community members to provide a sequential, data-driven, standards-based, comprehensive, and developmental K-12 program that addresses the social, emotional, academic, and career needs to ensure access, equity, and success for all students in graduating citizen, college, and career ready. One of the three big domains for school counseling programs are social, emotional, career, and academic. And so those are kind of the domains we work from, but we also have different mindsets and standards. Those are part of those essential skills that we're covering too with students that we want them to have. I'm not going to read through all of our program beliefs, but this is fundamental to what we believe about our kids, what we believe about ourselves as school counselors, and what we believe about our school counseling program. This is really tied to our vision. A lot of this is tied to our district. Some of the verbiage I got here is from our district website, because this is what we as a district believe about our kids. This is what we believe we can teach them, what we can help them with. And so one of our big phrases here in the district is every student, every day. And so you can see that all the belief statements start with every student, because that's what we believe. We believe that all kids are our kids. We believe that every student has this potential, and we will come alongside them and help them. And so this is something that you could pause in your video and read through when you get that chance. Our program goals. This is another kind of part of that fundamental piece, but this is part of that data-driven component. We really want to make sure that we are looking at different data sources that we have. As you can see, for a comprehensive program, we're looking at outcome data that surrounds attendance, academic, and behavior. As you can see, a couple of our program goals are around attendance and academics. We have kind of switched how we've collected data the last couple of years, going from a student management system to another. And so there was some data a couple of years ago that was kind of lost. And so basically in this process for RAMP, but in this process of just really digging down and figuring out what we are measuring and what we have impact to create with our students, I used last year, so the 2016-2017 school year, as baseline data. I collected data from our attendance, used some with our in-school, out-of-school suspension, our academics, our DNF lists. And so basically just finding what are our data resources, what are things that we're looking at, even our school report card, there's a lot of information with closing the gap. And so when it came down to it, I chose these program goals based on the need or based on things that just kind of jumped out at me. And so the first one with attendance, we are measuring a decrease in students who had 12 or more absences for last school year. So basically we had 45 students last school year that had 12 or more absences. And so we hope to reduce that 20% to 36. So again, sometimes I ask, as a school counselor, how do I impact attendance? And there's so much perception data that ties into that outcome of better attendance. You know, kids' perception of school safety or belonging or feeling accepted at school or not being bullied. And those are things that I feel like we as counselors have an intentional effort, intentional kind of mission to help our students with so that they feel more safe at school and therefore have better attendance. And there's different variables as to what creates poor attendance. And sometimes it's even out of the student's hand if it's a surgery or death of a family member. Some of those things accumulate. But this is our goal today for this year. Academic, this one is comparing this first 9 weeks to the end of the semester. Originally, I was going to have this goal be the end of the first 6 weeks, but then when we've had some teams starting to pilot the learning-based grading, I realized not all classes were going to be submitting D or F letter grades. This goal will have to look different in the future if we want to have one around academics or grades, just because this will look different. This is evolving. But for right now, we know that all teachers will have to submit a letter grade for the first 9 weeks. And so that is what we are going to use to compare and hopefully drop that by 10% from end of quarter one to end of semester one. Closing the gap. So that's where we're also looking for something that we can kind of obviously help close that gap. And I went back to attendance. I realized our 7th grade students last year were discrepant in the fact that their grades were better, but their attendance was worse. And so basically looked at students who had 12 or more absences during the previous school year and hopefully reducing that cumulative number of absences by 15%. So we had 7th grade students that accumulated 12 or more absences, just including those kids with 407 absences. So we're hoping to decrease that by 346. So part of the RAMP components that I'll be explaining a little bit is kind of documenting and also using data to try to intervene with those now 8th grade students to show how we're helping them maybe close that gap and be here more. Obviously, our program goals are also SMART goals. We want them to have an end date. We want them to be realistic and measurable. And so that is something that you will see with those goals. It's written in those kind of SMART goals, that template. Okay, here we go. So now we are going to get to the objective where I want to talk to you a little bit about what you can expect from a junior high curriculum with within our school district. So for Peet and Holmes, this is something that we presented to the school board about a year and a half ago, I think it was now, basically just showing them the graphic that you see on the right. That is something that we came up with through professional development. We spent time looking at, every content area has their essential skills, their core. And so we looked at what ours are. We have 6 mindsets and 29 behavior standards. Learning strategies, self-management skills, and social skills all tie in to the behavior standards. So we have 6 mindsets, 29 behavior standards. And so we looked at these and we figured out what our big rocks are. Essentially, in collaborating and working with our other junior high here in town, we want to work towards a common programming based on our essential skills, based on these mindsets and behavior standards. This is how we at the junior high level work towards meeting these essential mindsets and behavior standards. And so our big rocks are the careers and mindsets, the transitioning and scheduling, personal and social learning or intervention, and our community collaborations, right? It takes a village. We love our community. We have so many resources here in the Cedar Valley, and so we are so thankful for that. So really, with these big rocks, we're closing the gap, working towards every student's achievement and success. Now, with that first big rock of careers and mindsets, the mindsets include a positive well-being, growth mindset, career development. So we have our career cruising and our career exploration are big pieces of this rock. We also take kids to different experiences where they can, like Allen College Day, where they get to see what a different career would be like in health science. At Boost, we talk about growth mindset. That's where that mindsets piece turns into. We also do the character counts and leadership, which really we try to have this focus on that social emotional learning, the mindsets, the positive well-being, making positive choices. And of course, individual counseling ties into this too. We do a lot of individual student planning where we're meeting with students one-on-one and helping them kind of plan out that next 4 years, 3 years, and so on. This is just examples of what you guys can hopefully click on these. Well, actually it'd be the video, but I will share with you this presentation too. So if you want to click and watch the video, it just shows pieces that we've used in the character leadership curriculum. This page specifically is for Holmes. This shows one of our career speakers we had a couple of years ago for architecture and design. We also go into family consumer science and do a little bit of growth mindset. So these are just examples of how we meet that skill. The next big rock, transitioning and scheduling. So here we're talking about those behavior standards of learning strategies, self-management skills, and what goes underneath of that, if you remember from that graphic a few slides ago, the organizational skills, positive decision-making, goal setting, self-advocacy, coping skills, and self-regulation. So a lot of the things that we do with transitions, moving from our sixth graders to our seventh grade, our ninth to our high school, we really try to be effective and better each year in how we transition those kiddos and really help them with that process, not just scheduling, but transitioning. It can be hard. And so we have presentations that go into that. We try to over communicate and have a lot of time with them. The parent meetings and presentations, again, we meet with students individually to help with this. Part of 504s is helping kids with those transitions and those accommodations that they need, but then also those check-ins with the academic interventions that we're a part of. A lot of that could be the tier 2, tier 3 interventions. An example with some of our scheduling, we have presentations that we do with parents, with our sixth graders, with our ninth graders. We have an example of kind of a 504 in one of our elective videos. And so we have one of the organizational lessons with Holmes here. Again, we teach organization. Holmes has done that through Boost in the past. We have as well. Organizational Bootcamp, we've also done it through small group. For personal and social, we have our learning strategies, self-management skills, and social skills. Again, those are our 3 behavior standards. And under that, again, we kind of have the shared overlap of the positive decision-making, goal setting, coping skills. We have different things that we help students on, and some of it are fun things like the new student celebration. That's kind of a thing to kind of help kids feel welcome to the building because we know how much research there is if students feel safe at school, if they feel connected at school. And so there's different events or ongoing events that we have that really try to help connect those kids. Individual counseling, I feel like, is a part of, it's kind of foundational to what we do as counselors, but a piece of every single big rock that we have. We also go into 8th grade, not infotech, but health and careers now. That is new. We collaborate with our school resource officer. We do different student groups. Again, the character and leadership curriculum really helps cover this, and it's for all kids. Red Ribbon Week is another initiative, but also different things that we might have had in the past, like a Week of Kindness Challenge, Social Stand-Up, April Awareness. Those are different examples. And here you can see pictures of, this is specifically our girls leadership. Holmes also has a girls leadership. And so there's so many different initiatives that we have through that group, but so many awesome platforms that those students have to be leaders, to collaborate, and to self-advocate. Our last big rock is our community collaborations. So this is, again, where we're having those mindsets and behavior standards. We're doing the career development, self-advocacy, self-regulation, collaboration, teamwork, communication. Those are big things that we meet with this big rock. So we have different connections with Riverview Center. They all come and meet with our students who've experienced sexual assault. We have Together for Youth, Allen Women's Health, that they come and run a small group, facilitate that with us through training that they've had and through a great curriculum. And we also have a contract with them for them to provide other services for students too, which is just so awesome. We have any mentoring pieces with Tiger Pals, our high school. Holmes has a great mentoring program through UNI. We are very fortunate that our district believes in school-based mental health counseling, and they've provided those counselors. We keep them busy. In the past, we've also offered kind of a lunch and learn as kind of a short PD for our staff. This is a picture of Girls Circle. Shout out to Jill, who's there and will be a part of this stakeholder group in this video, but she collects data as well, and this is just a great collaboration and a great service to our kids. Our different websites that we have. We are now at the point to talk about our big calendar in a big picture, our calendar. Our calendar is actually much more detailed than this, but there's no need to overwhelm you with details you don't need to know. These are just kind of those big events, big items under each month. As you can see, the spring semester is much busier because of all of the scheduling pieces that come with that, and testing, Iowa assessments. And so we have, again, you can pause and kind of look through this. Many of you collaborate and work with us for these events to help our students. And so we appreciate all your help with that. Here we are for the national model. Okay, so you guys, we all of this kind of comes down to the framework of our national model. One of the big questions that, some staff members don't understand what school counselors do. So even this presentation and including you guys hopefully gives you a better glimpse of what we as Peet school counselors do, school counselors in the district and kind of beyond here. We are trying to answer the question through our work, how are students different as a result of what we do as school counselors? And so having a comprehensive program, we are actually collecting data and being intentional with the efforts we make in those initiatives to show that positive impact with those kids. And again, it's not just us, it takes a village. All of us working together create that positive systems change. So again, part of those 4 components, the foundation, delivery, management, accountability. Again, I'm not going to read through all of those details, but this is our framework. This is the right work to be doing. Best practice, I believe in it. I believe in the components. It's what's best for kids, and I think it's the best work that we as school counselors can do. It's continually challenging me. It's creating a great foundation to collaborate with our K-12 department. And this is where we build up from here. This is our framework. This is our foundation. And so RAMP, okay, so I mentioned that before. RAMP stands for a Recognized Ask a Model Program. So why RAMP? What's that process? Okay, so basically, RAMP is based on all the components, the key components of a national model. It's kind of a recognition program for schools, for counseling programs. It's not for districts or individuals. It is for counseling programs that are doing the right work, for doing our national model work. It helps evaluate our program and looks for areas of improvement. I've learned so much about what we're doing well, but what we could do better. And I was only able to really see that through the reflection of the narratives that we have to write through RAMP, but also in putting things in a specific way that it just makes it more apparent. And so that process has really helped evaluate our program. What are our strengths? What are our growth areas? It increases our skills and knowledge. I can't tell you how much I've learned how to be a better counselor and how to be more intentional with what we're doing while intervening with students and providing more prevention and not being reactive so much to what's going on in their lives. I've learned so much about how to be more effective in that way. It also enhances our program's efforts to contribute to student success because we kind of know the path to get there. Again, it's the right work. Also, doing RAMP is a huge part of the advocacy piece. So if you remember one of those big essential skills, one of those themes that's framing our graphic. Advocacy is so important, whether we're advocating for students who need more services, whether we're advocating for our profession. There's so many things to advocate for in a school with our kids, but also so people know what we as school counselors do. And so this RAMP component is really a great advocacy tool to help show what we as school counselors are doing. And really, I felt like I was at a point after doing some of the application process for School Counselor of the Year, I had to reflect on these different components. And because of that kind of required reflection, it taught me so much. And it taught me, again, where we had strengths and what we were doing right, but maybe not necessarily in the right framework. And so that was helpful. But also I feel like this is the next challenge that I'm ready for. This is the next challenge. I've kind of given myself 2 years to go through this RAMP process. And so I last year worked through kind of just being very familiar with the components, seeing what we're already doing, fitting it in that, but also kind of preparing the way for this school year, which is where we're documenting everything and really collecting that data. And so this will be kind of that year that I do that as well. But it really is just showing and advocating that we are committed to delivering a comprehensive school counseling program. The application covers the 12 components that are a part of our national model. So again, that foundation you guys already saw with our vision, mission, program goals. Later, I'll be talking about kind of the advisory counselor, our calendars, what we're doing for core curriculum. That's for large groups or entire grade levels or entire building. So things that we do with like character leadership development. Again, our staff help us with that because we're reaching all students in our building at the same time. That program evaluation reflection is reflecting on how we as school counselors employ the skills of leadership, advocacy, collaboration to create positive, successful change for our schools and our students. And so it's reflecting on that. Trying to think if I have missed anything here that I had notes for, but basically, yes, I'm ready for the challenge. It's the right work. Yeah, so hopefully if you have any questions about it, though, please make sure to ask. This is where we love more of your feedback. Some of you, I already sent these questions out in a Google form last spring because, again, kind of that 2-year process, I'm really preparing to get that feedback and figuring out what we want feedback on. So when it came to the first 3 questions, what are the most beneficial services we provide? Are there any services or programs that we should eliminate or completely redesign? What do we spend not enough time doing, or where could we improve? This is feedback that we value your feedback on as our stakeholders, kind of the integral piece of our program. We want to hear what you feel like is working well and what could work better. So I wanted to show you a little bit of our results from that. I'm going to go to, I think it's right here. Here are some are the feedback that we got. Some of you answered. Most beneficial services, the academic, social, emotional support for students. So yes, our 3 domains, preparing kids for Peet, part of our transition, working with specific students in need, just being a positive face for them, wicked sick counseling skills. That's awesome. I had some students are a part of this advisory council as well. So that was kind of fun feedback to read. Our individual counseling, check-in services, our character lesson small groups, yeah, being approachable and available to students. Then going to question 2. So this is where a lot of our stakeholders didn't really realize all the services or programs that we provide. And so this is why this video and this kind of presentation is so important, so that you have a better idea of what school counselors do, of what services we provide, what programs we provide. But I do love the encouragement to keep the college and career going, and we definitely will, especially with the new career technical education that we're working with that, and we're meeting, and the health and careers class really helps us do that. What are we spending not enough time doing? Where could we improve? Self-care. I appreciate whoever wrote that. Yes, we all need that, right? We need more time spent on helping our staff understand mental health, working more on transition activities for our 6th graders. I'm trying to think, sharing data that we collect. So with our spring video, our spring meeting, I'm going to be doing a presentation similar to this, but showing you the feedback or where we're at with those program goals, but then also talking to you about different things within our school counseling department, our website, again, different components of that, the national model that is infused in our counseling program. So don't want to give it to you all in one time. Just want to give it to you enough now. Do a little bit now, a little bit in the spring. But again, if you have anything to add with these 3 questions, what are we not spending enough time doing? Where could we improve? What are some beneficial services we're providing already? And are there any services or programs that we should eliminate or redesign or add? We want your feedback. So if you haven't provided us feedback, please email me back and do that. So let me see here. I appreciate your time in listening and watching this video, and we appreciate your feedback and what you do for kids as well. We couldn't do it without you, so we really appreciate what you do. And I really love the teamwork and the family feel that we all work together to do what's best for kids. So thank you for your time, and thank you for your help, and yeah, how you help us as well. So thank you so much.